please state your name and age?
My name is Hope, and my age is 24.
All right, Hope. Tell me a little bit about yourself or your family. What do your parents do? Do you have any siblings?
I have an older sister. She's a half-sister by my dad. My dad has been married 3 or 4 times now. Whenever he was 18, he met a girl that was 16, and that is how my older sister was born. Married her. They split up shortly after. Then he met my mom in the Army. Both of them were in the Army. He was a cop or a police officer in the Army, and she was a nurse. And my brother was born first in March of 90. And then I was born in April of 1991, so they didn't wait too much longer to have me. I guess I was 8 years old when they got a divorce. My mom met Steve, which is my stepdad. They got married within probably a year of them dating, and they moved in together, and I was 13 or 14 years old whenever my mom told me she was pregnant with my little sister. So I think 14 or 15 years older than her. So I was pretty much like a second parent to Peyton. I took her to school. I helped my mom a lot along the way because she worked full time. All my life, she's worked full time. At one point in our lives, she had, I want to say, 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. My dad, when we were growing up, didn't work a lot, but whenever my parents divorced, unfortunately, his great-grandma passed away, and he got left an inheritance because no one, he has a really small family. And then whenever he got his inheritance, he started Cons Plastering. And so I guess he has had his plastering company since I think I was maybe 9. So how long is that? 15 years. My mom was always in the dentistry world. I guess she worked for a oral surgeon for I guess 12 years. And recently she moved to Fredericksburg, where she opened up her own bakery. So that's what she's doing now. But yeah, I come from two really hard workers that don't really make excuses. Well, I guess my dad for a minute there, he didn't work a lot, but that's because my mom made up for him and almost, I think, enabled him in a way. But yeah.
All right. Did either of them go to college, or did they just do the Army?
No, yeah, they did some college while they were in the Army. Because they were in the Army, they got to do some schooling, but she just went enough to get, I guess, her certificates for dentistry or something. Because I know she wanted to be a hygienist, but she didn't have enough schooling for that, but she did have some sort of schooling. My dad didn't have any, though.
All right. So what about you? What do you do for work?
I work at Malboutan. I started there, I know that it's so sick, but I know the exact day that I started, which is November 27th of 2010. Or no, God, no, yeah, 2010, okay. I started there as a salon assistant. I got that job off Facebook because I was tired of working with kids. I worked for this horrible family and ended up getting fired because I had to take a phone call outside, and she told me that she thought, she was nervous because her kid could have crawled out the window and jumped to his death. So I was like, you know what? Okay. I didn't react, so then I got fired, I guess, for that reason. Whenever I got fired there, I was just creeping on Facebook, and I saw this girl, Victoria Banugli, and the only reason why I used to creep on her is because she dated this guy named Kevin Upton, which I didn't understand why they were together. And it made me crazy because he was so much better than her, even though he was disgusting. After I got to know him, they were equally as sick. But I saw her post saying that she needed to hire someone for her staff at Malibu Tan. So my wheels got to turning, and I went in there and I applied, and I was a salon assistant. I had very little training. I was thrown into working at a salon by myself one time because a girl had quit. And I guess worked under Victoria for about a year. And no, not even. No, I moved up really quick. So I guess no. So I started as a salon assistant, and then I made my way up to sales associate within like a couple weeks of working, but just because I was thrown into it. And then maybe within I'd say 6 months. Let's just say 6 months. I got my own salon to manage. And then after that, I got promoted to manage 2 salons. And then I did that for a couple of years. And then I got 3 salons. And then the owner of the company kind of just approached me with the idea of training everyone and holding little sales seminars once a week or once every other week. At first it was once a week, but now it's turned into just once every other week. And basically it's a 3-hour class that the girls that are new, that are just hired, come to, and they learn about all of our lotions, they learn about our beds, our memberships, the process of a tan, how a tan works, lotion, like basically skincare. I tell them, how I got started with the company, just to, I don't know, it's more of a meeting to like bring the overall morale up of the company. And yeah, and train, but yeah, it gets tiring. 3-hour courses, God. I have one tomorrow. But yeah, that's basically what I do. During the week, I have a little Malibu car, and then I go from store to store, and I just train, and I work with the girls and help them out while they're in the store so they can see how to talk to people, and I talk to our customers and make sure that, everyone's treating them right. And yeah, I work about, 50 to 55 hours a week, and sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes I say it's hard to call it a job, but for the most of the part, I work pretty hard, and I don't make too many excuses to not, get a lot of stuff done. And yeah, but I always make my job my number one priority. I think that's another reason why I got to where I am, because I sacrificed a lot of time and freedom to be where I am within this company. For some weird reason, I'm passionate about my job. It doesn't matter what I do. It's just a job that someone puts me in charge of something. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability because it's putting my name on something, and I want to be proud of it. So I think that's another thing about being raised by 2 people that were in the military. I think that having them as examples, I think that's another reason why I am the way I am, and I'm not afraid to call someone out at work, or not necessarily call someone out, but make sure they're doing what they need to be doing, and if they're not, making sure they're aware of how they could do something better. It's challenging at times because sometimes, I get so sassy with it, but you can only say something nice so many times before you just, turn into a sasshole, But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Then I also tell people I'm like a glorified babysitter, because we attract girls from the ages of like 19 to 25, and not only do these girls, no, I take that back. We attract girls from the ages of 19 to 25, or we attract drug addicts from the ages of freaking 35 to 40. I don't know why they think they can get some second start at Malibu Tan at 35 years old. It's not a job for that. It's a job that requires a lot of effort. It's not something that you can just
turn around and start over at, a new place. And yeah, why I say I'm a glorified babysitter is because I feel like I'm like some sort of life coach. Like when these girls call me with their issues, oh my God, I have to try and give them advice. And sometimes I'm like, man, would you just shut up? I'm so not patient with that. I hate it. God, I don't understand it. And I'm a girl. Like, I take that back. Sometimes I eat it up. Sometimes I love that drama. I am not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm bored in that car driving from store to store and I could just kick back, boy, and just talk some serious, what. I don't know. But my job's, it's hard to call it a job for the most part, but sometimes I want to just dip set, just bounce. There's weeks that feel like they're like 70-hour weeks and then it's only like Thursday and I've only worked 40 hours and Friday comes around and I have to work another 10. And I just ask myself, like, am I gonna get through this? Should I get through this? I look out the window like a dog. Count down the minutes. But yeah. I guess you could say I hate my job and love it at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship. It's pretty sick.
What do you love about it? What's your favorite part and what's your least favorite part?
My favorite part is being boss and telling people what to do. That's definitely my favorite part, is having that little bit of authority and man, I've run with it. I really do. I love it. Everyone, if anyone is an authoritative figure and they say that they don't like it, they're lying. You know you like it. Don't even try to deny it. My least favorite part is the disrespectful people that we attract, that were raised by people that didn't really treat them or teach them, work ethic or to not make excuses, to not lie, to not steal. That's, dealing with the bad parts of the hiring process, and you spend so much time and you invest so much energy and money into training someone, and then they turn around and they quit without a 2 weeks notice, and I ask myself, like, who raised these people? What is wrong with people? I think the number one thing that's wrong with people is cell phones. That's another thing that I can't stand about my job, is these girls text me and they'll text in, or they'll call in, or saying a lie, and I'll catch them in a lie, and it's so hard not to call them out on their lie. I want to rub their nose in me knowing that they're lying. And since I've been lied to so many times working in this industry, I am almost heartless now. When people come to me and they, like this past week, this girl on Tuesday, she calls me and she says that her uncle was killed in a drunk driving accident, and my heart shattered. I was torn up. I felt awful, okay? But part of me questioned whether or not that was true, and it made me feel sick, okay? Heartless. Then that same girl 2 days later says that she has a service for her uncle. And I was thinking it was pretty crazy that they had put together a service within 1 day of him passing away. And so I didn't question it. I just kept my cool. That same day, she calls me at work, tells me she has to leave work because her sister is 6 months pregnant and she was just involved in a drunk driving accident, and the baby is now killed. And I knew she was lying. I knew it. So I got her application. I saw her secondary number because I was blowing her phone up because someone else came in there to work for her, so she left. And fast forward, I guess, the next day she doesn't show up for work, and she told everyone that she was going to be there. I call her, blow up her phone. She's not answering, so of course I'm mad. Then I pull out her application, see her secondary emergency number, and it's her dad. So I call her dad, and I said, first and foremost, I want to start this conversation off with my deepest condolences to your family. I'm so sorry this happened, And he said, what happened? And I said, we heard about your brother. He said, my brother's passed away on February 8th, and he lives in South Africa. The service for him was in February. And so I was like, what? And so I told him, I said, well, since you told me that, I said, this is also what she told us. And he said, no, that none of this is true. And he was mortified. And instead of calling his daughter, he called his wife to ask his wife where she was. Instead of calling her and being like, what is wrong with you for lying? He wanted to call his wife. And just, like, I would tear my child up. Don't you ever lie about something like that. And I think parents, I don't know, no one gives a shit anymore. No one cares at all. No one even says hi anymore. And it's cell phones. No one knows how to properly communicate with people anymore because they're so tied to their phone. When people come into my work, they're on their phones and they greet me with their key card or instead of a hello, how are you today? Not only that, when you go into a grocery store, okay, think about this. If you go into a grocery store and you make eye contact with someone, are they going to look at you? Are they going to look at you? Okay, maybe, but they're going to look like, oh God, why would we make eye contact? It's hard to talk. It's hard. I'm really animated, so I'm like, doing a bunch of gestures right now, saying like, if you made eye contact with someone, more than likely they're going to look confused if you smile at them versus hey and give you one back. I think that the only people that will acknowledge the fact that you exist on this planet are older people because they come from a different time period. They don't have the cell phones. They're not used to planning out every single solitary word or letter they say or write. It sucks. Just like in the waiting room, no one says anything anymore. No one even cares. Anywhere you go, no one cares what they do or about you. Wow, I sound super depressing right now. But it's because of cell phones. It's totally because of cell phones. That's why people are assholes too.
Yes.
Social media, cell phones, it's all tied into one thing. I don't know how my occupation got turned here, but yeah, I guess it's because this biggest downside of my job is dealing with people and how they do, why they do what they do. Not only that, I try, I guess, and figure out why the hell these people act this way. And my only conclusion for it is phones. That's it. I guess that's why we got here. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just like talking in circles right now.
It's okay. When did you get your first cell phone?
I got my first cell phone when I was a freshman in high school. My parents made me wait. Everyone in my middle school got one. And how sick is it that I bought my 10-year-old little sister a cell phone? And I complain all the time about people and having their kids occupied on cell phones, but I did it too. I bought her one for her birthday because I knew it would mean the world to her, and I wanted her to fit in at school. That's another thing that sucks, is I didn't want her to be the only kid without a freaking phone. So I got her not only an iPhone, I got her the biggest, baddest, this cell phone is awesome. It's an iPhone 6 Plus, and she can do whatever she wants and show it off to all her little friends that were making fun of her for being the only kid without one. Yeah.
Do you go visit her often?
Not
Have you seen her recently?
I saw her last weekend. She is now, I guess, like I said earlier, my mom opened up the bakery. So she's living up there with them. She's going to a new school. She's in volleyball. She runs the show. Honestly, whenever she's around my parents, I think it's because they had her whenever they were older. Like my stepdad is 60, and my mom is God, how old is my mom? She was, dang, wow, I guess 47 or 48, something like that. She was 22 and she had me 47, yeah. And so I think the reason why they just let her get away with doing whatever she wants is they don't want to deal with her because they don't have the energy to deal with her. And, yeah, like, whenever she was like 6 or 7 years old, I was just telling the story last night. She walks out of her room one morning and she looks at her dad and she says, "Daddy, I'm thirsty." And he says, okay. And she says, okay, get me some water. And what do you think he did? He got up and got her that water. Like, it was don't talk to me that way, nothing like that. Get in your room. It was, well, let me go get her some water, shit. Like, hustle. Knees to chest, you know? Yeah, but she's loving it. Other than my Aunt April, she's absolutely loving life. My Aunt April is the one that opened up the bakery with my mother. And April has never worked before. The only thing she's ever done is work 2 nights a week at a bar. Mind you, she's an alcoholic, so she's not in the best environment, as it is. She's super unstable. She takes her anger out on my little sister and my mom and my granny and everyone that's up there. She's totally dramatic. I hate that my sister's around her, but her house is not going to be ready for another 3 weeks, so she's stuck there, and she's living in their guest bedroom. And my mom calls it a dungeon because she has literally turned this guest bedroom into like a hoarding zone of food. Like all these like cookies, cakes, chips. I mean, you name it, she's got it in her bedroom. And Peyton, my little sister, when I got there that night, they had some cookies on the counter, and I was like, "Hey, can you go get me an Oreo?" And she says, "Oh no, those are Aunt April's." I said, "So?" And she says, "Well, Aunt April doesn't want us to eat her food." And I said, "Okay, well in that case, go get me 2 of those Oreos." And so she did, and I told her, I said, "Take a bite of it, Peyton." And she was like, "No, I can't." And she wouldn't. She is terrified of that woman. I mean, I would be too, though. I experienced her for 3 days in a row at that bakery, and I about slit my own wrist. She was in the kitchen making a chocolate cream pie, which is, if you are aware, okay, I'm not sure if you're a baker, all it is pudding, okay? You get a pie crust, and you put pudding in a pie crust, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and it gets hard. That's it. Then you put some whipped cream on it. She acted like she had to swim through the Atlantic to cook this pudding. She said that her entire body was about to just give out on her. Literally fell to the floor after she put pudding in a freaking pie crust. That's it. After she put that pudding in a pie crust, she slams the pan on the counter, falls to the ground, grabs her back, and starts screaming, "I'm having back spasms!" And I'm just looking at this 42-year-old woman like, what in the world is going on? And me and my mom just started laughing in her face because, I mean, if it was anyone else, we literally would have been like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" But because it was my Aunt April, we were like, no, you're literally milking this. You're playing it up. I don't even know why my mom opened a bakery with this woman. She's broken into our house. Whenever we were like, I guess, how old was I? Oh, I was driving, I think, maybe 15 or 16. My Aunt April had a key to our house, and my mom was managing some bars, and she literally broke in to, well, okay, so the only reason why we think that she broke in, okay, so I'll start this story over, because now I'm messing up, I'm probably going to confuse you. I'm a storyteller, so I take pride in my stories, if you can't tell. Okay, so my mom went out of town, she was managing some bars, no, my aunt went out of town, my other aunt that has the bars, okay, Beverly, not April, Beverly. She owns the bars. She had my mom in charge of the money while she was out of town. My mom went to a graduation party for my oldest brother, Michael, which we don't really discuss because he's sick. And he looks like a total homeschool child. He's just pale. He doesn't even know how to ride a bike. He doesn't know how to swim. I mean, you name it, it's weird. It's weird. It's awful. I can't be around him. He has dandruff. It's like bad. And he has black hair. Okay? And he wears jerseys. So this shit's always on him. But currently he works for ESPN, which he also graduated from high school, high school, and he went to college. He's smart. My mom always told me how much smarter he was than all of us, and that was because of Steve, and that how Steve wasn't our dad. But anyways, back to Beverly and then April. My mom was watching these bars, and they had to go to Michael's high school or college graduation, and they came home, and their house had been broken into, and so they called the cops out there. I guess the people that had broken into our house thought that they could make it look like someone had broken in on the outside, so they broke a window. Well, we had, what are they called? Victorian doors or what? No, French doors. Okay, a French door. And they busted the window the opposite way where the glass was on the outside of the house instead of the inside. And so they said this happened on the inside of this house. Someone broke this window on the inside of this house. Who has a key to your house? And the only one that had a key to my house is my Aunt April, because when she got cheated on by her husband that was in the military, she moved down here from Seattle, Washington, and moved in with my mom's house, and my mom's like garage part of the apartment or house that they turned into like a little mini apartment for her. And so she still had that key, and they said that my Aunt Beverly hired an investigator, and they found out that it was probably April, or not probably April herself, but someone that April knows did it. And that's how the money is gone. It probably wasn't April herself, but it was someone that she probably hired to do it. So obviously she can't be trusted around money. So I don't know why my mother would ever even open up the bakery with her in the first place, because she's so unstable and because she's an alcoholic. She went to culinary school, so she thinks that she's like head honcho, but she didn't go to like a baker school. She went to like to be a culinary chef at like, making food for a restaurant, not a baker. Okay, and she like bosses my mom around in the kitchen. My mom can ask her, "Where's this?" Hey, my mom has the sweetest voice. April, where is this? And April will be like, where do you think? And it's like just to make her feel stupid, just to make April feel better about herself. And I don't know, she's just a miserable sack of shit, and I hate her. Yeah, that's my aunt. I was around her last weekend, and I about had enough, and I came home, and I never want to be around that woman. I mean, I guess I will be around her, because at one point in time we were really close, but after being around her for 3 days and seeing that she is still as unstable as she was whenever she lived with us, I'm just like, I cannot do it. She cried at least 10 times within 3 days. She complained about her back at least 20 times. She made me rub her back. She made me pop her back on the floor. She screamed and moaned while I rubbed her back. Ooh, I could have seriously sawed off my arms after that. It was disgusting. And I was just imagining, while she was moaning, I was imagining, of course, what everyone wants to not imagine, like her being in a sexual state. And I seriously wanted to just I don't know, melt. That's what I wanted to do, is just melt. That's, yeah, exactly what I wanted to do.
Wow. Well, Aunt April is a character, that's for sure.
She sure is.
Alright, so let's change gears for a minute. You've grown up in Texas your whole life, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see yourself as a Texan? Do you have Texas pride?
Oh my God, yeah.
So let's say if I were...
in my house, I have a Texan room. Just in my garage, it's Texans, like, gear, football gear, like Houston Dynamos, I love it. I love everything about it. I'm so proud of the state that I'm from. I love repping my block, seriously. And before I moved into this new house, I had my living room theme was Texas, and my kitchen theme was Texas. Now I have a thing in my bathroom that says something. What does it say in my bathroom? It says something about Texas. I mean, like, I love it. I'm so proud. it sounds so sad, but I'd rather have a Texas flag outside of my door than a United States flag.
That was my next question, actually. I was going to ask you, do you see yourself as a Texan before an American? If someone were to say, where are you from?
Texas. I would say that.
You would say Texas.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I'm so proud to be American. Okay, I love it. But I think I'm even more proud to be from Texas. I don't think I would ever move to any other state. I could never see myself. The only state I visited that I would, even for a second, entertain going back for an extended period of time would be Nashville, Tennessee. And that's the only reason why is because it's the only state that I've been to that has been similar to Texas. You know? I just love it. I've been here all my life. Everything that I want to do is here. You can do anything you want here. You know? You can go to the country. You can be in Houston and feel like you're in New York. I feel like whenever you're downtown and going out and...
Do you do Texas things, like, do you ever go to the Houston rodeo?
Yeah, Reba is my favorite, my absolute favorite. I pretty much only will go to the rodeo if Reba's there though. Like back in the day, I would go just to go, like whenever. But now, as I'm older and I don't want to be around this many people and that big of a group, the only reason why I would ever go back is to see Reba, and I would do it big. I'd go all out, boy. I'd sit in the dirt.
Can you tell me what goes on at the rodeo? What do people do there?
There's a fair. There's not a fair. I guess there's like a cook-off that's like a week before, so you can go out there and get rowdy and eat a bunch of barbecue and go into a bunch of tents and drink, and people basically, I guess, advertise their businesses and stuff like that. I don't know. They just throw parties for their businesses, really. And then there's like carnival food, which is amazing, today is one of the last days for the Houston Rodeo, and I might just go to the Houston Rodeo for a corn dog and a corn dog only, and I would leave. I'm not kidding. The food there is out of this world. They also have pizza on a stick. God, it is so... The pizza at the rodeo is the absolute best pizza. And the pizza on the stick is... Oh my... I'm seriously about to cuss you out right now because it's so freaking good. It is amazing.
How is it? Explain it.
It's crispy. I mean, it's like that perfect crisp on the outside. It's like a Hot Pocket on a stick.
Oh.
Yeah. It's amazing. It is wonderful. Yes, you know you want one. And they also have like these huge turkey legs. You can walk around and look like a caveman. They have rides. They have a huge Ferris wheel, which I personally, every year when I went, I would smoke pot at the top. Still probably would to this day. That was like the best thing about going to the rodeo is like getting away with like smoking pot on the Ferris wheel with all my friends. This is exactly what we would do, okay? If we weren't old enough, we would get someone to go buy us a handle of vodka, okay, or steal it from our parents. Now, we would buy it, of course, because we're of age, and we go to Sonic, we get a Route 44 cherry limeade, and we put about, 6 to 7 shots of vodka in it, like a sick alcoholic, and we chug that within 25 minutes of going to the rodeo. Literally, every single drop is gone. And then we get there, we're plastered, we ride rides, hopefully we don't throw up. One year I was standing in line, and I leaned up against this like silver fence thing, and I fell backwards because I tried to lean on it, and it's not something that you can lean on. It's not a wall, and I literally fell backwards in front of all the people all of everyone in Houston. I'm just kidding, but probably 100 people saw me. I was so embarrassed. But yeah, they have rides and everything.
So, what are people like there? Are there a bunch of country people?
Oh my god.
Does it fit the stereotype of Texans?
You know what? Everyone gets extra country around rodeo season. They really turn it up. Even myself, man, I'll even come back from the Houston rodeo with an accent, boy. I mean, talking just like this, turning it up, you know. Especially around my family. When I'm around my family or my boyfriend's family, I can really turn up the heat with my country accent. It's just, it comes out. But they really go all out at the Houston rodeo with the boots and everything. Some of them do it right, some of them don't, but I love it. I love rodeo season. But I don't like the wannabes. Like yesterday I was in the Starbucks line and this girl comes out wearing a sweater, a blue jean mini skirt. She was too big to be wearing that mini skirt, and she wore some gray high heel boots with studs on them. And they didn't even look like Western boots. And she was trying to go for the Western look. I could tell by her other attire and her belt, her Western belt. And it just pissed me off so bad because I was like, what are you wearing? Where are you from? That is not what you wear. You look dumb as hell. It was probably like Go Texan Day at her work or some shit. So she was trying to fit in, but I don't know. It just didn't look right. I was just mean mugging her so hard in the Starbucks line, just ticked. So ticked for no reason. No reason. And not to mention, okay, the reason why it looked even weirder is because she was with some little bitty Indian dude. And I know that shouldn't matter, but it looked so awkward. He was in some black Pizza Hut pants and a black Pizza Hut shirt. And I guess he worked at Pizza Hut because it said like something about Wing Street and all their flavors. And she was probably a foot taller than him. It made me so uncomfortable. I was like looking at this like, how can this be? How can this happen? Does anyone else see this right now? And she ordered so much shit. So much fattening stuff. I was just looking at her like, God. No, zero sense of like, what is it called? What is it called?
Awareness?
Self-awareness. Yes, you stole the words out of my mouth. Wow, I feel like I've just been rambling.
No, you're good. So, all right, just a few minutes left. Tell me, for guy and girl, what's the basic outfit for the rodeo?
For a guy and a girl, basic outfit. Okay, I feel like if you're a guy, you need to wear button down with plaid, okay? But don't do like the picnic plaid. Do the country plaid, okay? Do dark blue jeans. Don't do light wash unless they're cinch, okay? Not only that, you should do a brown boot. Stop with the black shiny boots. Stop with the brown shiny boots. Don't do a weird square big huge toe if you're a girl. That can only be for guys. Girls also shouldn't wear those fat boots or whatever they're called. They're disgusting. They're round toed and they're like really big. Girls should only wear pointy boots. A high heel is fine as long as it's done right. Okay, like if you have a high heel on your boot, they should go over your calves. And if they don't go over your calves, then they should be at your ankles, not at an awkward length at your shin. That's awful. Okay? If you wear your boots over your jeans, make sure there's not a lot of room in them. Like, don't have your flappy boots going crazy. And if they are going crazy, make sure you're wearing some socks to hold your jeans in. If your jeans are too baggy on you, it's going to look sick. You can wear the belt buckles if it looks right, but some people try too hard with the belt buckles and it really pisses me off for some reason. A girl, just wear a cute top. Don't overdo it. Quit with the pigtails. If you wear a cowgirl hat and you're a girl and you go to the Houston rodeo, you're just asking for it. You're sick. Quit. I'm gonna judge you. Everyone else is gonna judge you. That's trashy. I hate it. And the rock and roll night, that's one of the best nights to people watch. That is one of the best. Like this past year was Kid Rock. And oh my God, if I was a fly on the wall to see the people in that trashy joint, that would have attracted all kinds of people. Like rockers, cowboys that think they're hillbilly badasses, you know.
Do you like the actual rodeo part with the animals and the roping and bull riding?
It depends on who I go with. If I'm on a date, I'll act interested if the guy's into it. But if not, then no. The only reason why I say that is because I went on a date one time. The guy used to rope, and so I acted like I was super interested in it, but I wasn't. But I paid attention.
Yeah.
But I hated every bit of it.
Yeah.
But the mutton busting thing is really cool. The kids riding around on them little lambs, hanging on.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Hope. I appreciate it.
No problem, girl.